So our topic is about contemporary global governance with integration of COVID-19. So global governance and COVID-19. So it is a global governance involves international cooperation to address global issues, and also the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the need for coordinated efforts in areas like public health and vaccine distribution, and lastly in crisis response. So that's all. Thank you.
So we are the group 4 and our topic is about contemporary global governance with integration of COVID-19. So global governance and COVID-19. So it is a global governance involves international cooperation to address global issues, and then the COVID-19 pandemic highlighting the need for coordinated efforts in areas like public health, vaccine distribution, and crisis response. So in addition of that, so the integration of COVID-19 into global governance reflects a multi-faceted challenge that has prompted international cooperation and innovation in policy making, so health system and economic strategies. So the pandemic highlighting the importance of global governance structures and such as the World Health Organization or WHO, and in coordinating a worldwide response to health emergencies. So here are several key aspects of how COVID-19 has been integrated into global governance. So first aspect is health governance. So health governance is the pandemic emphasized the need for robust health governance mechanism at both international and national levels. So this includes the sharing information, best practices, and resources to combat the spread of the virus. And next aspect is economic coordination. So economic coordination is the COVID-19 caused presented economic disruptions leading to a global recession. In response, there has been a concerted effort by international organizations like the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, and the World Bank to provide financial assistance and support to countries hit hardest by the pandemic. And this situation underscored the importance of global economic governance and the need for the coordinated fiscal and monetary. So next aspect is vaccine equity and access. So the pandemic brought to the forefront issues of vaccine equity and the need for a global governance approach to ensure fair distribution of vaccines. Initiative like COVAX, led by the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation. And next is digital health governance. So the increased use of digital health technologies during the pandemic, such as contact tracing apps and telemedicine, highlighting the need for governance frameworks that can address data privacy, cybersecurity, and digital inequality issues on a global scale. And the next aspect is environmental and zoonotic disease governance. So this is a COVID-19 believed to have zoonotic origins, underscore the interconnectedness of human, animals, and environmental health, known as the One Health approach. So this has led to calls for better global governance mechanisms to address environmental degradation and wildlife trade, which are risk factors for the emergence for zoonotic diseases. So next is crisis management and preparedness. So the pandemic has shown the importance of having effective global governance structures in place for management and preparedness. This includes the development of international protocols for emergency responses, stockpiling essential medical supplies, and coordinated research and development efforts for vaccine and treatments. So that's all.
So, effects of globalization on government. So, first is global economic trends affect national policy. So, when global money and business change, government must adjust their own rules to stay competitive. For instance, during a global recession, a country might need to change policy to protect its economy. And second, increase interconnective demand collaboration. With technology and trade linking everything, country must work together on big issues like climate change and cyber security. For example, pollution in one country affects the environment worldwide, and cyber attacks can spread through shared networks. And third is balancing national interest and global responsibility is challenging. So governments must consider what best for their country and the world. For instance, may protect local businesses but harm global trade. Finding the right balance is tricky.
Institutions governing international relations. International relations are governed by a variety of institutions, both formal and informal, that facilitate cooperation, negotiation, and conflict resolution among nations. Some of the key institutions governing international relations include: first, we have the United Nations, which is the UN. The UN is the most prominent intergovernmental organization in the world, established to promote international cooperation and maintain peace and security. It includes various specialized agencies such as the World Health Organization, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, and the International Monetary Fund, which is the IMF. International Monetary Fund, IMF. The IMF is tasked with promoting global monetary cooperation, securing financial stability, facilitating international trade, promoting high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reducing poverty around the world. And the World Bank. The World Bank is a vital source of financial and technical assistance to developing countries around the world. It provides loans and grants to support a wide array of initiatives aimed at reducing poverty and promoting sustainable development. So, the World Trade Organization, the WTO, is primary international organization governing trade relations between nations. It aims to facilitate the smooth flow of the trade, negotiate trade agreements, resolve disputes, and ensure that the trade policies are fair and equitable. And ICJ, which is the International Court of Justice, also known as the World Court. The ICJ is the principal judicial organ of the United Nations. It settles legal disputes between the states and give advisory opinions on legal questions referred to it by authorized UN organs and specialized agencies. And regional organization. Various regional organizations play significant role in the governing international relations within specific geography areas. Example include the European Union, which is AU, African Union, AU, Associated of the Southeast Asian Nations, and the Organization of American States. Non-governmental organization, NGOs, plays an increasingly influential role in shaping international relations by advocating for various causes, providing humanitarian assistance, promoting human rights, and facilitating people-to-people exchange. So this institution, among others, form the framework within which states interact with each other, negotiate agreements, resolve disputes, and addresses global challenges.
So my topic is the International Monetary Fund, or IMF. So the International Monetary Fund works to achieve sustainable growth and prosperity for all of its 190 members countries. It does so by supporting economic policies that promote financial stability and monetary cooperation, which are essential to increase productivity, job creation, and economic well-being. The IMF is governed by and accountable to its member countries. And also, the IMF has three critical missions: furthering international monetary cooperation, encouraging the expansion of trade and economic growth, and also discouraging policies that would harm prosperity. To fulfill these missions, IMF member countries work collaboratively with each other and with other international bodies. And the IMF provides broad support to low-income countries through policy advice, capacity building activities, and concessional financial support, meaning it is provided at below market interest rates. Concessional support through the Poverty Reduction and Growth Trust or PRGT is currently interest-free. And question, what is the function of the IMF and the World Bank? So their approaches to achieving this shared goal are complementary. The IMF focuses on macroeconomic and financial stability, while the World Bank concentrates on long-term economic development and poverty reduction. So why it is very important? So firstly, the international monetary system provides the infrastructure for foreign exchange markets to operate. Without an international monetary system, there would be no systematic method to exchange one currency for another, making international trade difficult, if not impossible. And added, the International Monetary Fund was founded by 44 member countries that sought to build a framework for economic cooperation. The IMF was established in 1944 in the aftermath of the Great Depression of the 1930s. And there are many nations or countries that are not members of the International Monetary Fund. So the first one is the Andorra, the second one is Cuba, the third one is Monaco, and the fourth one is North Korea, and the lastly is Liechtenstein.
My topic is about internationalism. Internationalism emphasizes cooperation between nations while respecting sovereignty. Internationalism promotes global cooperation and unity among nations, fostering collaboration on issues like climate change, human rights, and economic development. It aims to transcend borders and create a shared sense of responsibility for the well-being of humanity as a whole. Here is the example of internationalism. It is evident in organizations like the United Nations, where countries collaborate to address global changes. For instance, the UN's Sustainable Development Goals showcase international efforts to achieve shared objectives like poverty reduction and environmental sustainability. Certainly, in the example of cooperation is the Paris Agreement, where countries worldwide commit to addressing climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. This treaty emphasizes the importance of global collaboration to combat a shared environmental challenges.
Globalism in sociology refers to the interconnectedness and interdependence of societies and cultures on a global scale. It encompasses various social, economic, political, and cultural processes that transcend national boundaries. Globalism impacts social interactions, cultural identity, economic inequality, environmental policies, and migration patterns. Sociologists study how globalism influences social interaction by fostering multiculturalism, transnational social movements, and the formation of hybrid identities. They examine its effects on cultural diversity, including both the spread of Western cultural values and the preservation of local traditions in a global context. Economically, globalism can exacerbate inequality by promoting the exploitation of cheap labor and widening the gap between wealthy and impoverished nations. It also shapes environmental policies and activism by facilitating international cooperation to address global challenges such as climate change and pollution. Globalism in sociology provides a framework for understanding the complex and interconnected nature of contemporary social phenomena and processes in an increasingly globalized world.
I tackle about rules and function of the United Nations. I have three examples, meaning international peace and security, promoting social progress and better living standards, facilitating cooperation in solving international economic, social, cultural, and humanitarian problems. And I have one example about United Nations several roles. Maintaining peace and security. The UN works to prevent conflict and facilitates peacekeeping operation and resolving disputes through diplomacy and mediation. And the second is promoting human rights. It holds and advises universal human rights standards and advocacies for the protection and populations and address violation of human rights worldwide. And the third is providing humanitarian assistance. The UN coordinates humanitarian aid efforts to assess pollution affected by natural disaster, conflict, and other emergencies, providing food, shelter, healthcare, and other essential services. And facilitating international cooperation. The UN serves as a platform dialogue and cooperation among member states. Facilitating partnership to tackle transformation issues such as terrorism and organized crime and pandemics. And the sixth is disasterment and non-proliferation. It works to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, reduce armed proliferation, and promote disarmament efforts globally. Protecting refuge and stateless persons. The UN Refuge Agency and other UN bodies provide protection, assistance, and solution for refugees and stateless persons, advocacy for their rights, and supporting their integration or settlement.
So, challenges of global governance in the 21st century. First is the climate change and environmental issues. Second is cybersecurity threats. Third is global health crisis. So, the last one is the economic inequality. So let's tackle first the major environmental issues of 21st century. So one of the example is the levels of the sea are rising as well, which has a huge impact on wildlife. Biodiversity is brought into a danger with the rise of climate change, deforestation, and increased levels of pollution, and it could seriously impact the way our planet functions in the future. So second is the cybersecurity threats. So there are many examples or many major issues of this cybersecurity threats. So I will mention some of the top 10 cybersecurity threats. First is social engineering, third-party exposure, configuration mistakes, poor cyber hygiene, cloud vulnerabilities, and mobile device vulnerabilities. So the cyber threats became more sophisticated. So malware, phishing attacks, and data breaches increased. So this prompted organizations, including accounting firms, to take care of cybersecurity more seriously. So password access control, firewalls, and antivirus software became standard. So that's why the antivirus is one of the most important of all. So next is the healthcare issues. So example of this is no or indicate health insurance coverage. So insurance, so low scientific and health educations in the population. Third one is prevention and management of chronic disease associated with premature mortality and disability. So major killers such as smallpox and polio have been eliminated or contained a large part of the world. So the 21st healthcare century challenges here in the Philippines. So first is the also the health insurance coverage, so prevention and management of chronic disease associated with premature mortality. So next is economic inequality. So this is one important also. So over the past 4 decades, there has been a broad trend rising income inequality across countries. So income inequality has risen in most advanced economies and major emerging economies, so which together account for about 2/3 of the world's population and 85% of global. So that's all for the challenges in the 21st century.
Relevance of the state amid globalization. State control policies and regulations. In globalization, state maintain control through policies and regulations shaping economic activities and ensuring compliance with local laws like trade restriction or environmental standard. They negotiate international agreement and manage domestic affairs will also overseeing domestic affairs exemplified by treaties, trade deals, and handling issues such as immigration or national security.